Zone Media.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Behind the Bastards, Mohammed and Salman episodes extravaganza.
Woo!
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to introduce these episodes in an exciting way anymore. We're talking about bad people, the worst, and one of them is the current crown prince of Saudi Arabia. When we left off last episode, he had started what was becoming a genocide in Yemen. He had partied with Pitbull, and he was orchestrating the downfall of his relative, Mohammed bin Nayef, who was the crown prince before him. How we doing, Dave? David Bell, our guest.
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well, Robert.
Is doing Bell, or
I didn't have a new dream in between these episodes that I could tell you about.
That's probably
so
for the best.
It's just the same dream from before.
Yeah, that same upsetting dream, sure.
Yeah, it was a nice shower.
It's an upsetting dream to me a little bit.
It wasn't sexual.
That's good. The more you say it wasn't sexual, but the more I believe it wasn't sexual. That's how telling someone something isn't sexual works.
Mm-hmm. It was weird because, like, I don't dream about you often.
Thank you.
I wasn't thinking about the fact that we were recording today.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm like, that's interesting. That's interesting that you made a cameo.
See, now I am hurt. Why don't you dream about me often, Dave? Am I not worth dreaming about?
Here's what I'll start doing.
Thank you.
When I go to bed, I'll look at a photo of you every night.
That's
all right?
good. That's good.
Nothing weird about that.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. I will continue to have one dream about you per week where we captain the USS Enterprise together.
Oh,
yeah.
We would do terrible things.
We would. That is not going to end well for anyone on board the ship.
We would keep my go-to every time I'd be hit with like a moral dilemma or like a problem. I just go, beam them into space. Problem solved. Moving on.
Get those assholes into space right now.
Yeah. Into space.
Man.
Here we go. Just a trail of bodies.
The Enterprise, that's the ship that keeps beaming people into space.
Yeah. The one move.
I just watched the new Starfleet Academy, the first 2 episodes, and it is missing that. Whenever there's all these bad guys, there's the guy from Sideways on your ship. Just beam him into space. Get his ass. Beam him into space.
Beam him into space.
Yeah.
So easy.
Come on. Oh, God.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year. You can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC. SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
You're listening to a podcast, so you're doing something else too, like maybe scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving places you like without thinking you'll get them, because that's what house hunting has become. But Redfin isn't built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, which means when you find a place you love, you've got a real shot at getting it. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Hey, this is U.S. Olympic gold medalist Tara Davis-Woodhull.
And I'm U.S. Paralympic gold medalist Hunter Woodhull.
As athletes, our lives are about having a clear path.
And a team that you can absolutely trust.
So when it came to getting the best mortgage,
we chose PennyMac.
PennyMac is proud to be the official mortgage provider of Team USA and you.
Learn more at pennymac.com. PennyMac Loan Services, LLC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 35953. Licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Conditions and restrictions may apply.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay is the only designer sofa that's machine washable inside and out, starting at just $699. Plus, Anabay sofas are pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and feature changeable slipcovers and modular pieces. Get up to 60% off site-wide with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Visit washablesofas.com to get yours now. That's washablesofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
You know who else was in the classic movie Sideways, Dave?
Who?
Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
Uh-huh. That checks out.
Yeah, he was one of the two male leads in Sideways. Pretty much, basically, close enough.
Sure.
So perhaps the key defining characteristic of Mohammed bin Salman that most explains his success within the closed world of the Saudi royal family is simply the fact that he's got energy and he wants to do things. I cannot overemphasize how lazy most of these guys are.
I mean, that's America too at this point where it's like, well, are they 80? No? Okay, that's great.
It's like, again, if you go into like nepotism with like the sons and daughters of like Hollywood royalty, where when you get that one guy who's like, he's got the famous name and he's like, no, like I will cover my body in shit and roll around. Does the role want me to be covered in shit and squirming around like a grub? I'll do it. I have no ego about this. I don't give a fuck. Like, and it's like, well, yeah, you're going to have a career, Nicolas Cage.
That was my Lily Rose Depp watching Nosferatu. And I was like, oh, you're willing to like, do weird shit.
You don't give a fuck. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We can work with that.
Yeah, you get to be a star. Mohammed bin Salman is like the Lily Rose Depp of the Saudi royal family. You know, a lot of people have been saying that.
Yeah.
So in 2016, he continues both the war in Yemen and his conflict with Mohammed bin Nayef, and he launches a new war against one of the most powerful blocs in the kingdom, the religious police. Now, the Mutawa, or Haya, as they are also called, had been seen as almost untouchable by his predecessors, right? These are the police of vice and virtue. These are the guys who are going around making sure you're not disobeying, like, the religious law, right?
Fun police.
Yeah, they're the literal fun police, right? Yeah. And the men in his father's generation and MBN's generation would not fuck with these guys, right? Like they were scared of them. They really wanted them in their corner. But by 2016, things had started to change. More than 65% of Saudis were under 30. And the young men of this generation had grown up with access to the internet and social media. They and their peers shared their frustration with the abuses of the religious police, right? They were talking to each other about how annoying these fuckers were, right?
Right. They're on the internet. They're like, hey, everybody else is having fun.
Yeah.
Like, we're
Do other
learning about
fun police. Yeah. In The Man Who Would Be King, Karen House describes the fun police's MO. For decades, thousands of these men, often self-appointed members of the committee to promote virtue and prevent vice, had roamed Saudi streets carrying a long stick forcing women to cover their heads, herding Saudis into the mosque at prayer time, ensuring all shops and stores locked their door for half an hour at prayer time, and that Western influence like Barbie dolls or Pokemon cards didn't pollute Saudi youth. In the waning year... yeah, they're good after Pokemon cards.
Listen. It's if you're... I know it's not the same thing, but if you're starting a cult, right... Mm. One of the key things you got to do to maintain that cult is make sure people are having fun, right?
There got to be something, right?
Yeah. You just can't, like, if you're like, no Pokemon cards, it's like, this is not going to last.
If you're saying no Pokemon cards, but you can all wife swap, then you might be able to keep a cult going. But if you're saying no wife swapping and no Pokemon cards, what's going to keep people there?
Yeah.
Right?
You're out of business. You're
out of business. You got to at least get them on drugs or something, you know?
Yeah, let them have the goddamn Pokemon cards.
Yeah. To continue from that quote, in the waning years of the late King Abdullah's rule, the Haya had gotten completely out of control. Hearing music inside one family's car, the religious police chased the car until it rolled off an overpass, killing the driver and injuring his wife and two young children. A few months later, two young Saudis died when Haya members, suspecting alcohol, chased the young men's car, bumping it at high speed, causing the car to roll off a bridge. The religious police fled the scene. Still, 6 members of the Haya were later acquitted of all charges. Saudis tweeted their anger on social media. The Haya are bloodthirsty. At Talal tweeted. At Neher wrote, the Haya situation is similar to many governmental entities in Saudi. They all need restructuring and fixing. So these guys are just a menace, right? Where it's like they might be drunk, ram them off the road, you know? Like they're cops. All cops are kind of more alike than different, right? It's a happy family situation.
If you're okay, when I was a dishwasher, food stopped becoming food. Mm-hmm. It was just this thing, right? Where you're just like, exactly. I'm just doing this thing. When you're a cop of any kind, people stop becoming people. It's just what happens, which is why, I don't know, people should only be cops for like a few weeks at a time and then we swap it out.
If you're going to have cops, it should be a job where everyone is a cop for a little while. And because you know what doesn't get enforced then is bullshit rules, right? If everyone has to take him, you're like, wait, I gotta enforce marijuana laws? No, I'm
not doing that.
I'm not doing that. Yeah. Anything is better than having it just be like a job that a group of people hold, and to protect their power need to like protect their right to continue doing it with even greater bloodthirstiness and
anything
whatever.
Is better. You know what? Just make cats cops. Just replace all cops with cats.
Especially every cat has a drone with a gun on it. So when the cat needs to shoot somebody, the drone just starts firing. Like whenever the cat gets angry, it just starts blasting.
Whenever the cat gets startled.
It's just a pissed off cat in public. Get down. The cat's angry. Someone took away its food bowl.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
it's still better than what we have, right? If protesters right now we're instead of trying to fight squadrons of like armored police with tanks and machine guns, they were just a bunch of cats with robots firing blindly into the air because they hadn't been let out in long enough. At least that's an easier problem to solve.
Mr. President, how did they get in here? How did they overthrow the government? Well, sir, they had raw salmon on them. Unfortunately,
there was nothing we could do.
Yeah, there's nothing.
So MBS's first move in his war against the religious police was to ban them from stopping or detaining Saudi citizens in public. Great first start, right? The thing that you were doing that was getting a lot of people killed, you just can't do anymore. You're not allowed to just fuck with people in the world. His predecessors had tried to curb the influence of religious hardliners, but failed. Most famously blocking for 6 years an attempt by King Abdullah to make it legal for women to work in lingerie stores, selling underwear to other women. And like the religious, the hardliner clerics would be like, no, women can't work. But then the problem is like, okay, so are men supposed to sell lingerie to women?
We have lingerie.
Is that better?
But women can't work in the the lingerie industry was like, guys, please,
come on, you got to give us something.
Killing us.
Like, what are we got? We just want to sell you people underwear.
I have a bunch
what is
of
wrong
dudes in here.
Yeah. Where King Abdullah had been too frightened to confront the Mutawa directly, Mohammed bin Salman simply ignored their protestations and used his father's absolute power to crush any opposition. The public was wildly supportive of his actions, and conservatives found themselves alone. Perhaps MBS's single most important quality was his ability to understand how the youth of Saudi Arabia felt. It wasn't just the morality police. Regular citizens knew it was impossible to get anything done through the government without bribery. The poor majority of the country were forced to watch while a handful of princes siphoned away the oil money that was supposed to be funding social programs and infrastructure, right? Like, people are pissed about this. And so MBS has a lot of support as he sets about dismantling his enemies, the forces he saw as holding Saudi Arabia and his own ambition back. He later said this of his decision to crack down on the religious police. I am young. I don't want 70% of the Saudi population to waste their lives trying to get rid of this. We want to do it now, right? And we're going from like the genocide and the orchestrating internal fights with his family where he's the bad guy to like, no, he's in the right side of this thing. These guys suck.
It's a broken clock situation.
Yeah, the only thing that will get rid of them is he's effectively the king, not literally, but is a strong regent who's being, fuck it, that's not how we do things anymore.
Right.
I'm in charge, right? Like nothing else was going to fix this situation because of how Saudi Arabia works, right? I'm not saying every country is this way. We don't need a king to deal with the cops in our country. We could just stop having them be immune to everything, but whatever. By the end
it's like when Trump gets something right, it's like you don't have to hand it to him. You know,
it's like, he is right. Those little Japanese trucks are pretty sweet. We should be able to buy those here.
Yeah.
We don't need just F-350s. We could use some little Ks or whatever they're called. Or are they Korean? I forget which. Those little bitty trucks. We need little bitty trucks here. He's right about that.
Yeah, we need little bitty trucks.
Yeah, it's anytime it's something truck related, he's got like a 50% chance of being right because he seems to just be a guy who periodically sees trucks and goes, ooh. Those are cool.
The guy seems to know trucks. Yeah. I would trust him.
I don't think he just likes them.
If he was like Secretary of Trucks, I'd be fine with that, you know?
Yeah. It's like that video where he's inside that big dump truck or whatever, pretending to drive around. And I'm like, no, that looked pretty fun. I'd be making the little faces too. Like, who wouldn't do that?
Most human moment for him.
Yeah. By the end of
No, just getting rid of the fun police. Anybody could have done it. But
everyone should have before him. It's shocking but like he's the guy who does it, right? By the end of 2017, he had developed a somewhat earned reputation as a reformer, but he was also the architect of what the international community was openly calling a humanitarian catastrophe and potentially an act of genocide. A 2021 report by Watana for Human Rights, an independent Yemeni human rights organization, concluded that by November of 2015, the kingdom was aware of a food insecurity crisis in the regions they were striking. Over the next 2 years, MBS's Saudi-led coalition increasingly and purposefully used hunger as a weapon to try and force Houthi surrender. Martha Mundi, an expert on Yemen, quotes a senior Saudi diplomat who described the coalition strategy this way: "Once we control them, we will feed them."
Huh.
Is that the plan, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's a good plan. Like,
you know, you're the bad
logistically.
guys, right?
Yeah.
Like, first off, that's bad guy talk.
Yes, that's supervillain, yes.
I want to continue by quoting from a 2025 article in the Journal for Genocide Research, Unnoticing Yemen. A UN panel of experts similarly determined in a report published in January 2018 that the Saudi blockade is essentially using the threat of starvation as a bargaining tool and an instrument of war. The Yemen Data Project, a major source of information about Yemen, has documented the persistence of the tendency of the Saudi coalition to target civilian places and infrastructure. Almost a third of all coalition airstrikes throughout the war have been aimed at such targets, especially at farms. Right? So they are... Food is a weapon, you know. That's a lot of people
not in a
do
fun
this,
way.
but
not in a fun
way. Not in a fun way. Not like in a food fight way. Yes, Dave.
Yeah.
Despite each new atrocity, there appeared to be no end in sight. King Salman had taken power and brought his son with him, but they'd inherited an utter mess of an economy. Oil revenue accounted for 80% of the federal budget, but global oil prices had collapsed, leading to a 50% decline in revenue. One of King Salman's first moves was to bring in the kingdom's foreign currency reserves. With a $100 billion budget deficit and the war in Yemen alone costing $500 million a month, the World Bank estimated Saudi Arabia could only afford to go on for 4 years before running out of money. There was no way to begin tackling the problem without cutting benefits to Saudi citizens, much of this in the form of benefits to government employees. These cuts slashed the average Saudi man's income by around 50%. That's how to the bone. Because these people, all their jobs are fake. And all their jobs are like, oh, you know how to use a typewriter, there's an extra 20% to your salary, right? That's the stuff he's getting rid of.
We talked about that, where it's like, sorry, guys, nothing you do matters. So you're kind of, you know.
And the country's fallen apart now because of the war the prince launched.
Yeah, we want to do this war, so we're going to pay you less to do nothing. No one's a hero in this, I guess.
No one's a hero.
But also, I would be pissed. I'm like, listen, you promised me money to do nothing for a very long time.
Yeah, you promised me money for nothing and the chicks for free, man. I don't have
either.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm spoiled, but I don't want less money so you can go do a war.
Yeah, and the chicks still aren't free, you know?
No.
We're not even allowed to play guitar. Well, actually, now we are. We are allowed to play the guitar now.
That's something.
It's something, right? In The Man Who Would Be King, Karen House writes, despite warnings from some of his ministers that economic growth would grind to a halt, MBS proceeded. To add insult to injury, the Saudi civil service minister took to television to accuse government employees of working only an hour a day. These cuts were paired with slashes to subsidized water, power, and gasoline. Fuel prices rose by 50%, bringing gas up to a horrifying 96 cents per gallon. One Saudi economist described the situation thusly: "We had Christmas every day, and Grinch has stolen it."
Again, no one's a hero.
No one's a hero.
It's like, shit, man. Like,
Should you have had Christmas every day? Is that a good way to run a country?
Well, I'm all for living in a utopian society where it's Christmas every day.
But not when it's being paid for by oil money.
That's what I was
and
gonna
it's
say.
only Christmas for a tiny chunk of the population.
Yeah, where it's just this group at the cost of everybody else. That's not good. But I understand that it's that sort of thing where everybody thinks they're the underdog of their own life. It doesn't matter how rich you are, you want more and you feel like you're not getting enough. So it's like these people clearly were living in their little utopia. And then they're like, sorry, life has to get slightly realer for you.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is bullshit.
Bullshit. You want me to do stuff? Yeah.
No.
So government spending was a huge problem, as was the fact that basically no citizens were working. But just annihilating everyone's income turned out to have negative impacts. By the start of 2017, economic growth was at 0.4%, a state of affairs most economists would describe as fucked up. Social media boiled with resentment. A protest movement began to bubble up, and on April 22nd of 2017, King Salman was forced to issue a royal decree declaring takesies backsies on all cuts in allowances, benefits, and bonuses. The civil services minister was fired for insulting Saudi workers. And again, he's right. These guys are, at most, in a lot of cases, doing an hour a day of work, you know?
It's interesting because there's certain things in this that I admire, and then certain things where I'm like, again, like, okay, like I would love to not work much and get paid, but I
Sounds
also
great.
like it's definitely a sign that things are going bad. I do wish more governments issued takesies backsies. Like
When they
I
have
wish
a
more
horrible
governments,
policy,
yeah, we're allowed to go, hey everybody, oops.
You know what?
Oops.
Department of Homeland Security was a mistake.
Yeah.
We're taking away the TSA. Just get on planes now. We'll figure it out. You know, it works like the 90s again. Just run right up to the plane. You know?
Right, but because that's not normalized, them doing that in this case is like, oh, you really fucked up, huh?
Yeah, no, you made a mistake.
Yeah.
You realized that you were about to be overthrown.
Yeah.
MBS was not fired after this fuck up, but his popularity and reputation took a major hit. Perhaps one reason why it was so hard for Saudi citizens to accept any cuts to their benefits was that they'd seen the Al Saud family's personal finances balloon during the same period. And they have a point where it's like, yeah, you guys aren't really working, a lot of you, or you're doing barely a job compared to what you're getting paid for. But the Al Saud family is worth an insane amount of money, and they do nothing at all. Right? Even as the government revenues have collapsed, they continue to be the family net worth as the state's finances are in free fall. The Saud family net worth is $1.4 trillion. So I get why these people are like, we gotta make cuts. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Oh, the story of everything, right? Where it's like the rich people are like, sorry, you're gonna have to tighten the belt. Us, I mean, I need my super yacht. Sorry.
Yeah. Look, man, if I don't, like, I can only eat one piece of steak per cow, and we've got to burn the rest of the cow. And I'm
no one else
simply not
gets my
going to
cow.
ride on the same private jet twice.
Yeah, I'm not
Again,
going to
we
cow
burn
share.
it. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I will say $1.4 trillion is the net worth of the family. That is spread. There's more than 10,000 descendants. Now, it's not evenly split up. Right? But it is split up between them, you know, so it's not quite as insane, but it's still a lot, you know?
So things are tense, right? It's like...
Things are tense by mid-2017, yeah.
Yeah, because they basically, it's like, I don't know. It feels like the same vibes of if we were on a lifeboat and I was like, sorry, I'm going to shoot you because I want all the food. Also, I don't like you. And then you realize there's no bullets and you're like, sorry, never mind.
You know
We're
what?
cool,
that
though,
was
right?
just a test. Yeah, just testing you guys. See if you
Never
were
mind.
ready to share with me in running this boat.
They're not wrong, but it sounds like he along with being like, we're cutting your money, but also by being like, and you deserve to have your money cut. Like it's, like you're not doing anything. So
That's right. You're not doing anything, but you know who is doing something?
Nope. Sorry. I don't know.
Sponsors of this podcast. They're doing hard work. You know, they're earning their pay. If you let them run Saudi Arabia, they'll do it. You know, they'll run it, Saudi Arabia.
They'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC, SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Hey, this is U.S. Olympic gold medalist Tara Davis Woodhull.
And I'm U.S. Paralympic gold medalist Hunter Woodhull.
As athletes, our lives are about having a clear path.
And a team that you can absolutely trust.
So when it came to getting the best mortgage,
we chose PennyMac.
PennyMac is proud to be the official mortgage provider of Team USA and you.
Learn more at pennymac.com. PennyMac Loan Services, LLC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 35953. Licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Conditions and restrictions may apply.
Life gets messy. Spills, stains, pet accidents, and kid chaos. But with Anabay, cleaning up is easy. Our sofas are fully machine washable, inside and out, so you never have to stress about messes again. Made with liquid and stain-resistant fabrics, that means fewer stains and more peace of mind. Designed for real life, our sofas feature changeable fabric covers, allowing you to refresh your style anytime. Need flexibility? Our modular design lets you rearrange your sofa effortlessly. Perfect for cozy apartments or spacious homes. Plus, they're earth-friendly and built to last. That's why over 200,000 happy customers have made the switch. Upgrade your space today. Sofas start at just $699. Visit washablesofas.com now and bring home a sofa made for life. That's washablesofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Now I'd like to introduce you to Meaningful Beauty, the famed skincare brand created by iconic supermodel Cindy Crawford. It's her secret to absolutely gorgeous skin. Meaningful Beauty makes powerful and effective skincare simple, and it's loved by millions of women. It's formulated for all ages and all skin tones and types, and it's designed to work as a complete skincare system, leaving your skin feeling soft, smooth, and nourished. I recommend starting with Cindy's full regimen, which contains all 5 of her best-selling products, including the amazing youth-activating Melon Serum. This next generation serum has the power of melon leaf stem cell technology. It's melon leaf stem cells encapsulated for freshness and released onto the skin to support a visible reduction in the appearance of wrinkles. With thousands of glowing 5-star reviews, why not give it a try? Subscribe today and you can get the amazing Meaningful Beauty system for just $49.95. That includes our introductory 5-piece system, free gifts, free shipping, and a 60-day money-back guarantee. All of that available at meaningfulbeauty.com.
And we're back.
I'd run it too, by the way.
Good times. You'd run it too? Yeah, I bet you could run
Saudi
Saudi
Arabia?
Arabia, Dave. Yeah, what's your first move?
I don't know if I can do it. I'm just saying I will do it. If someone was like, do you want to do this? I'd do it.
Yeah.
For at least a week, and then you'd never hear from me again.
Yeah.
I would be dead. It's but I'll do it.
My first move, I'm changing the country's name.
To what?
From Saudi Arabia to Free Ecstasy Town, you know?
Ooh.
And we just let the tourist dollars flood in. We let those Germans and Spaniards come on over. You know, someone will provide the ecstasy. That's not my job. They're in Free Ecstasy Town right now. Zero downsides.
That's so smart. What if, hold on. What if I named my apartment that, and put it on, got it on Google Maps as Free Ecstasy Town? Because you're right, is that if you do that and then people show up, eventually
there will be free ecstasy.
Exactly. It's a problem that
I'm going to come back in 2 weeks and start the episode. So our friend David Bell's been raided by the DEA. He flew too close to the sun.
That's just so smart. I don't know. That's such a smart idea.
I think it'll work. Anyway, ads. And
we already
back.
did ads.
Oh, we did. Are we back from ads?
We were
Yeah,
back.
I thought.
What's wrong with me? What's
Too
wrong
much
with me?
ecstasy.
By mid-2017, the king's son was in a very mixed position politically. He'd earned accolades as a reformer for his hobbling of the religious police and his seeming support for some social liberalization, but he was also the author of an unpopular austerity policy. The king and his son faced increasing resistance, both from the populace and within their own family. MBN, who'd made no secret of his critiques of MBS's policies, was an obvious rallying point for resistance. And so on June 21st, 2017, Mohammed bin Salman acted to take him down. Karen House writes, that fateful evening of June 21st, 2017, MBN was called to a palace in Mecca. Once there, his guards were forbidden to accompany him inside. All phones were surrendered to palace guards. MBN was taken to a room where Turki al-Sheikh, a contemporary and friend of MBS and now minister of the General Entertainment Authority, and others began bullying him to resign. Denied contact with his men and the painkillers to which he was said to be addicted, he finally succumbed early the next morning after Prince Khalid al-Faisal, the governor of Mecca, urged him to obey the king.
Huh.
So that's how he gets rid of his cousin. Yeah.
Wow.
Wait,
Yeah.
sheesh.
That was abrupt.
Yeah. It was super abrupt. Yeah. And by the way, that fella, Turki al-Sheikh, who is handling like the torturing of Mohammed bin Nayef, like cutting him off from his guards and his painkillers and like forcing him to resign, the guy who handles all that. Do you know what he got more he's become famous for doing more recently?
Oh, no.
Maybe a hint. He's the minister of the General Entertainment Authority.
What did he do?
He's the guy who ran the Riyadh Comedy Festival that all our favorite comedians performed at.
Oh my God.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
God.
not only in charge of entertainment within the kingdom, he's been Salman's hatchet man. Yes. Yeah, he has
He's
a whole prison named after him. Yes, the guy who paid Dave Chappelle $6 million.
I mean, not surprised, I guess. I don't know.
Nah.
Who else was there? Was Louis C.K. at that?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, pretty sure he was. Yeah.
It's the Simpsons moment with the burlesque house and Barney comes out and they're like, oh, Barney. It's that where like Louis C.K. at there. I'm like, yeah. No one was shocked, I guess.
Yeah, I don't feel any worse about Louis C.K. or about Dave Chappelle than I did previously. I both feel about like, yeah, I bet if you told me some comedians took millions of dollars from the Saudi royal family, those would have been my two first guesses.
Right.
Not
Also,
shocked.
I wouldn't be surprised by a lot of comedians, frankly, because you're a comedian. I don't know. It's the same with Pitbull at that thing where I'm just like, I don't like it, but I guess I'm not surprised by it.
I'm a little surprised by the because I think most people, if you say like you want to make $6 million for a day's work, you have to make peace with working for a really bad man. But all you have to do is something otherwise innocuous. Most people will do it, which isn't good. It's just $6 million. But if you have a lot of $6 millions of dollars,
that's what I was about to say.
That's where it's like, what? Like you're not starving. Like, you don't have to pay for your mom's dialysis, Dave Chappelle.
And that's the thing. If most people was like, I did it, I wouldn't be like, I'm disappointed in you. I'd say,
it's like, yeah, man, you still had student loans. I don't know. I get it.
Yeah. Can I have some? I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it's an already rich person, it's just like,
Pitbull didn't need that. Yeah.
But that's rich people. I don't know.
That's rich people. That's how you get that rich. So to the international public, it seemed as if the heir apparent and most powerful man in the Saudi security state had completely collapsed overnight as a center of power. Now, as we've covered, Mohammed bin Nayef's position had been degrading for years, right? He was not totally well. He did not have a grip on things. And MBS had been slowly cutting him off from his sources of power for several years at this point. So this is the result of a fairly long family conflict. For most of the 21st century, Saudi Arabia had been ruled not just by the king, but by the Black Prince and another senior prince, a guy named Sultan, who headed the defense ministry before MBS. All three of these men died between 2012 and 2016. So now, just like 2 years into King Salman's being the king, right, in 2017, he and his father have neutered the clerics and the religious police. They've eliminated Crown Prince Nayef, and the other crown princes who might have acted as barriers to their total power were gone. They are the ones running everything. There are no other major power centers. They've done this in about 2 years, right? So this is a very successful consolidation of power.
Yeah, it's some Game of Thrones shit. Like that's
it really is.
Yeah.
Now all they had to do was discipline a squabbling cadre of lesser princes and officials, some of whom had supported rival princes, and others of whom may have eventually represented a threat themselves. More to the point, they were all corrupt, and King and Prince Salman both knew their continued support would hinge on being seen as fighting corruption. In the fall of 2017, Mohammed bin Salman spoke before a major investment conference in Riyadh that had earned a reputation for being the Davos of the desert. In a bid to attract foreign investment into the kingdom, he deliberately played down the country's connection to Wahhabism and announced that by June of 2018, Saudi Arabia would finally allow women to drive.
Hey.
What a reformer! Huge move! What a feminist icon! Mohammed bin Salman.
It really is like if you have a society where, like, I don't know, people are running around stabbing other people randomly all the time as policy.
Like the United Kingdom, sure. Yeah. Like
and
England,
then a leader shows up and they're like, number one.
No stabbing.
Yeah. It wouldn't matter how, like, not progressive they were. We'd be like, good for them. I like them. I'm going to vote for them. Like, it's just, really low bar is my point.
Extremely low bar. The bar is in the fucking below the toilet. It has been flushed into the sewer, right?
Yeah.
So this is also not quite the promise that it seems. Now, he avoids bringing up, and nobody present feels pressed to ask, about the Saudi women's rights activists who are already imprisoned for campaigning for their right to drive. Right. On stage at the Davos, like, there's already women. Nobody's like, what about them? Are they getting out? And MBS doesn't say shit about that. The next thing he brings up on stage at the Davos of the Desert event is an exciting, history-making new project, NEOM, or N-E-O-M, a city built as a one titanic wall stretching from the Red Sea to the mountains.
It's heard of this.
It's a huge wall-sized skyscraper covered in solar panels. The inside is a whole climate-controlled city. It's going to be like the perfect living place for human beings. And arcology. Walltown, right?
Yeah.
Per the book MBS, quote, businessmen would write the laws and entice the world's top minds to innovate on Saudi soil. Planning for a post-carbon future and taking advantage of the Saudi sun, the city would be powered by solar energy and staffed by so many robots that they might outnumber the human inhabitants. NEOM, Mohammed bin Salman said, would cost $500 billion and be a place for dreamers. It was not an economic development project, but a civilizational leap for humanity. At that point, the lights dimmed and a video like this one played. And Sophie's gonna display that for you now, Dave.
Ah, sweet.
For too long, humanity has existed within dysfunctional and polluted cities that ignore nature. Now, a revolution in civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint.
Cram it!
Designing to protect and enhance nature. The line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. And we are designing it to provide a healthier, more sustainable quality of life. The line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions.
Man, now, so I love that they're like, too long have cities not been wall-based.
Have not been big walls. Also, cities don't live in harmony with nature. Unlike a giant line.
Right.
Unlike a huge silver wall that cuts off birds from their migratory pattern.
Oh, yeah. Birds are going to be smacking into that thing. It's so tough because, like, when I first heard of Wall City, right, I'm like, that's cool in cyberpunk and, like, that's fun. Then watching that ad where they take a city and cram it, I was like, oh, right. That's dystopian. That's Blade Runner, right?
And there's some like bits of wisdom in that, like, denser urban developments are a lot easier on the environment than sprawling ones. Sure, there's probably a future. One of the suggested futures of how we would build cities is that they are denser, which doesn't mean of low quality, but like that that you have like there's a lot more space for nature. No one is suggesting a giant wall hundreds of feet high and dozens of miles long. Like, I mean, again, that's an insane thing to build.
It's neat because it's like what Blade Runner would have lived in. Yeah. This is the thing. This is the issue I have with everything from the goddamn Cybertruck to this, which is that I love this estate. I'm not embarrassed to say this. I love the look of the Cybertruck. I love that bullshit futurist aesthetic. I know it looks like shit objectively. But all these dildos, it's the same problem, which is like, they're like, I want to make a world like Star Trek. And I think, oh, okay. So number one, we get rid of money. And they're like, no, robots. And it's like, no,
just a lot of robots.
Yeah, we just
a
want
lot
to
of
make
robots and tall.
Right. They want to make it look like Star Trek. They don't want to actually make it Star Trek.
No.
Where it's actually like, oh, we eliminate like money and we pour a bunch of efforts into medicine and lifting up the lower classes. No, none of that. We just want fucking cool, smooth things. And like, I get it. So do I. But I'd rather have the other stuff first.
Yeah.
So like,
wouldn't we all?
Yeah, Wall City, I'm like, I guess. I mean, there's too many of us. We should stay out of nature's way. But yeah, it's who's doing it. And again, it's clearly that they're just like, they started with, like, he's clearly someone who's like, Wall City, that's cool, right? And then
that's a great idea. And
they went from there.
We may do a dedicated episode about this later because we didn't have time in this, but this is impossible. The project is already run into terminal issues. Like, it is. Cost overflows are massive. The kingdom's financial situation today is still not good because, again, every effort to transition off of being entirely reliant on oil money has failed, and they never really got over a lot of these central issues that were massive problems for the country when MBS took power. Like, they've been patching over them, but there's still problems. And the goal was to get a bunch of foreign investment to make this thing possible. Again, they were looking at $500 billion, and it's likely it'll cost way more than that if they were to actually finish this thing. They've dug a bunch of holes. They've started construction. It's never going to get built. It's impossible.
They're starting with the conclusion and not getting there. It's, again, like the Cybertruck, I think looks cool, but it's clear that he started with the look and then the insides are shit and don't make any sense. So it's like, you're not starting with that fundamental idea of like, how do people live? How should we build a city more efficiently? It started with what if wall? Make that
We're going
work.
to build the city of the future where like a modern society, built by businessmen, all of the world's innovators will want to live here. It's like, but like alcohol still illegal and women can't don't
get your
have
shit together
rights.
first.
Like,
this is a very non-original idea. Man's like, what if I start a city? What if I make my own town? Like that's a very common thing, I fear. And if you meet that guy, go, please leave me alone, and then tase them.
It's a teenager's dream where it's like you draw a character where you're like, and he has a cool sword and he's got like cool armor, and then you think of like, what's his personality? Like you're going backwards, right? Where you're like, and it's that where they're just like cool Wall City, but our actual what they said designed by businessmen, the laws.
Imagine meeting that guy at a bar.
Yeah, designed by businessmen. Yes.
Just imagine meeting that guy, not knowing anything about him. And the guy comes up to you and is like, yeah, I'm going to build this city, the line. It's just like one really big wall.
Right.
You'd be like, please get away from me. You're terrifying.
I'd be like, are you Peter Thiel? Are you Peter Thiel right now?
No, it's like classic libertarian shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is such a libertarian boat city.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Which again could be cool if it was not just like every single time it's like the worst people in the world are like.
Exactly.
No, I would live on a boat if it was like a pirate radio kind of situation because that movie rips. But I'm simply not going to live on a boat with a bunch of Bitcoin guys.
I'd rather that's the thing is like if we can't get the good futuristic stuff, it would be cool if my house looked neat, like if I had some cyberpunk brutalist house, like that's something at least. But the best version of this has ever been Walt Disney designing Epcot and being like, I'm going to make a future city. And then it got too hard. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to make a theme park.
Yeah.
He goals, he was like, okay, I'm not the guy to make a future city, the experimental prototype city of tomorrow.
Turns out that sucks ass.
Yeah, I'll just put some fucking rides in there.
He's like, not tomorrow, but Tomorrowland.
Yeah. Like, good on him.
As we've
famous good guy, Walt Disney.
Famous good guy.
The real hero of these episodes.
It's a nice reminder that these rich dildos have been trying to make cities for a while.
Because they all want to prove they can do it better. They all want to prove they know what's wrong with society. But what none of them understand, and so why this is impossible, is that it's hard to make a good city or a good country because people are messy and don't get along. And if your whole thing is I don't understand people or like to listen to them, you're going to fail. You know?
It's that. And it's also like Disney famously was also like, you know what I hate? Zoning laws. Mm-hmm. These rich people, they also just don't like following the rules of law. Mm-hmm. So they're like, what if I made a city? And then it's everybody will love my cool city. And then everybody has to do what I say.
Yeah. And then you forget to have any measures to prevent the outbreak of cholera.
Right.
And so everybody dies of cholera.
It's why every libertarian city, I feel like every pitch falls apart when you go, okay, and what do you think the age of consent will be there?
Yeah.
Like, because it's always a dark answer. And you're like, see, that's why. I see.
The age of consent, like, who's gonna be in charge of the poop? What's gonna happen with the poop? You know?
Yeah.
Where's the poop going? Right?
Where's the poop going?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's if you're ever hanging out in like an alternate living situation or where someone's trying to like build their own community and the first thing they show you or close to the first thing isn't, and here's our toilet solution, those people are going to fail, right? You know?
Yeah. Unless it's all around Poop City.
Unless it's Poop City.
Yeah. My idea of our city. It's all poop oriented.
Yeah, there you go, Dave.
Yep. And you take showers with your buddies. Okay, sorry.
Wow.
Sorry. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks after going on this slightly fevered Steve Jobs style rant about how the future was a big line city in a country where most people didn't think TV should be legal, Mohammed bin Salman, powerful people didn't think TV should be legal. Mohammed bin Salman launched his final gambit towards consolidating absolute power. He'd spent the days since the big Davos in the Desert event sending his secret police out to arrest and transport hundreds of the most powerful people in the kingdom to one location. And this included multiple members of the royal family, as well as billionaire financiers who had helped to build the nation's economy. These men were taken to the Ritz-Carlton in Riyadh, one of the finest hotels in the world.
Right.
It was locked down for normal business. Its staff was replaced by security officers and secret policemen. Guests were made to surrender their cell phones and devices. They were separated from their guards and sometimes vast fortunes. One of these men was Prince Al-Walid bin Talal. He was the most famous businessman in the kingdom, a billionaire great-grandson of King Abdulaziz. Prince Al-Walid was as protected a nobleman as you could imagine. He was called by the royal court one morning and ordered to visit the king. Another billionaire, Walid al-Ibrahim, had found himself in the same situation a day before. So these are guys who should not have been vulnerable to something like this, right? But the reality is, and King Salman knows this, these guys are not as rich in reality as they seem to be on paper, because for decades, they'd relied on the Saudi state purse and public funds to prop up their bad investments and smooth over any mistakes they made. And all of the richest people in Saudi Arabia were doing this. This is part of why the economy was in the shitter, is these guys start making bad bets and they're using the kingdom as a checkbook to cover their asses. So this mass detainment that King Salman orchestrates of all these guys sends a message. None of you are untouchable anymore. And I want to quote from a summary of what happened from an NBC report by Dan DeLuce, Ken Delanian, and Robert Windrum. The involuntary guests were told they had to sign away large chunks of their assets to be released. The detention involved both psychological abuse and, in some cases, torture, current and former U.S. officials say. The move, described by Saudi authorities as a crackdown on rampant corruption, allowed the crown prince to tighten his grip and sent a shockwave through the kingdom's elites. This was a shakedown operation and a power consolidation operation, said one former senior U.S. official who was in office at the time. The Ritz detentions were designed to remind people going forward that their wealth and their well-being would depend on the crown prince and not on anything else, which is why it was so upsetting for many in the royal family, said the former official who spoke on the condition of anonymity.
What was that a quote from?
This is from an NBC report.
NBC. I just love involuntary guest. Perfect journalism speak.
Guest. Yeah. Involuntary guest of the Ritz-Carlton. Yes. May have been tortured. Involuntary guest.
Yeah.
You just call them prisoners at this point.
Yeah.
But this is what brings us to Mohammed bin Salman's most notorious crime, although certainly not his worst, the brutal murder of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Now, Jamal, if you haven't heard much about this guy, he came from almost as rarefied a social circle as Mohammed bin Salman himself. His grandfather, a doctor, had treated MBS's grandfather, the king. He was a close relative to billionaire arms dealer Adnan Khashoggi, who was involved in like 80% of the shady deals that took place in the 1990s. Jamal got involved in the Muslim Brotherhood while in college, and he worked as a journalist for an English-language paper out of Jeddah once he graduated. He winds up on the ground floor of reporting on the Mujahideen's resistance to the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. Khashoggi arguably crossed the line from reporter to participant during at least one part of the conflict. He became a well-known figure within the world of Islamic militancy and secured an invitation to talk with another influential Saudi militant, Osama bin Laden, right? So this is a journalist who's reporting on this jihad against the Soviets. He, at least at one point, crosses from being a journalist to being a combatant. And as a result, he has a lot of clout with these other militants. And so he gets to hang out with bin Laden. Now, ultimately, Khashoggi winds up disillusioned by the failure of the revolution in Afghanistan. He had been a guy who had hoped, we'll create something better than what had existed before if we can kick the Soviets out. And instead, we get the Taliban. And Khashoggi's not delusional. He can see the Taliban is bad. And so he comes home being like, well, that didn't fucking work, right?
Yeah.
Shit. What do I do with my life now?
It's tough. It's tough when your buddies become the Taliban. Yeah.
It's tough when your buddies become the Taliban. Nobody wants that to happen to their buddies, Dave.
No.
I'm happy that you've continued writing for the internet as opposed to becoming the Taliban.
Right. No, I had that crossroads, but yeah.
It would have been logistically confusing too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So when he returns home to Saudi Arabia, he's arguably the most influential journalist in the kingdom. He's one of them. And he's developed close working relationships with several highly placed members of the royal family. And he spends the next couple of decades as both an influential critic and pillar of the power system. So he is integrated tightly within kind of the upper strata of Saudi Arabia. He's very well regarded. He's also someone who can periodically critique what decisions that are being made by the powerful in Saudi Arabia. And he sees himself as like a mouthpiece for the poor in Saudi Arabia, for the working class as a result of that. He can occasionally speak some truth to power, right? Or speak truth to the rest of the world about what's going on in Saudi Arabia. That's at least how you'll see this guy written about. Speaking of people who speak truth to power, these ads will speak truth to the greatest power in the world, your wallet.
Wow.
Not my wallet.
Not,
Support for the show comes from Public, the investing platform for those who take it seriously. On Public, you can build a multi-asset portfolio of stocks, bonds, options, crypto, and now generated assets, which allow you to turn any idea into an investable index with AI. It all starts with your prompt. From renewable energy companies with high free cash flow to semiconductor suppliers growing revenue over 20% year over year, you can literally type any prompt and put the AI to work. It screens thousands of stocks, builds a one-of-a-kind index, and lets you backtest it against the S&P 500. Then you can invest in a few clicks. Generated assets are like ETFs with infinite possibilities, completely customizable and based on your thesis, not someone else's. Go to public.com/podcast and earn an uncapped 1% bonus when you transfer your portfolio. That's public.com/podcast. Paid for by Public Investing. Brokerage services by Open to the Public Investing Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. Advisory services by Public Advisors LLC. SEC registered advisor. Generated assets is an interactive analysis tool. Output is for informational purposes only and is not an investment recommendation or advice. Complete disclosures available at public.com/disclosures.
Hey, this is U.S. Olympic gold medalist Tara Davis Woodhull.
And I'm U.S. Paralympic gold medalist Hunter Woodhull.
As athletes, our lives are about having a clear path.
And a team that you can absolutely trust.
So when it came to getting the best mortgage,
we chose PennyMac.
PennyMac is proud to be the official mortgage provider of Team USA and you.
Learn more at pennymac.com. PennyMac Loan Services, LLC, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 35953. Licensed by the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Conditions and restrictions may apply.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay is the only machine washable sofa inside and out, where designer quality meets budget-friendly prices. That's right, sofas start at just $699. Enjoy a no-risk experience with pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and changeable slip covers made with performance fabric. Experience cloud-like comfort with high-resilience foam that's hypoallergenic and never needs fluffing. The sturdy steel frame ensures longevity, and the modular pieces can be rearranged anytime. Shop WashableSofas.com for up to 60% off site-wide, backed by a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. If you're not absolutely in love, send it back for a full refund. No return shipping or restocking fees. Every penny back. Upgrade now at WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change, and certain restrictions may apply.
Hi, I'm Cindy Crawford, and I'm the founder of Meaningful Beauty. Well, I don't know about you, but I never liked being told, oh, wow, you look so good for your age. Why even bother saying that? Why don't you just say you look great at any age, every age? That's what Meaningful Beauty is all about. We create products that make you feel confident in your skin at the age you are now.
Meaningful Beauty. Beautiful skin at every age. Learn more at meaningfulbeauty.com.
And we're back. So, Jamal Khashoggi, after a period of time as one of the more influential journalists in Saudi Arabia, is going to do kind of the most dangerous thing you can do in the kingdom, which is express support for reforms that everyone knows are necessary, but that the crown prince and king haven't embraced yet, right? He's going to be ahead of the curve on some important things, and that's going to make him a lot of enemies. Ben Hubbard writes, he was appointed editor of Al Watan newspaper and used it to push for women's rights while criticizing the role of the religious establishment. He didn't last long. After al-Qaeda bombings killed 25 people in Riyadh in 2003, Khashoggi penned an editorial attacking not only the terrorists, but the clerics who gave them power. Jamal wound up driven to the United States, where he would live at time through the coming years whenever things got too hot for him back in the kingdom. He was, predictably, a big supporter of the Arab Spring, which further caused consternation among the powerful. During the rise of ISIS, Khashoggi compared the terrorist movement's ideology to the kingdom's own Wahhabist beliefs. He initially supported Salman as king and was bullish on the reforms that he and MBS introduced against the religious police and endemic corruption. So when MBS first comes to power, Khashoggi's a big backer because he sees this guy as kind of the answer to his prayers, someone who will stick up to the worst and most conservative elements in our society, right? This guy might be a sign of hope. Khashoggi acted for a while as a dogged defender of the new king to international critics. He was important enough to be included in a public meeting between Mohammed bin Salman and a group of clerics and intellectuals in 2016. Ben Hubbard reports that MBS talked to the crowd about his plans for economic and political reform. Khashoggi asked him, "Why don't you talk about any of this in public? If you're in favor of all these reforms, why won't you tell people about them? Why are we having this meeting in private?" And MBS says, in short, you can just write about what I've said here. Put it in the newspaper. Tell everybody what I'm saying, right? I'm giving you permission to make this public, right?
Okay.
So Jamal is like, all right, I fucking will. And he takes this as an invitation to report openly on the prince's crusade to modernize the kingdom. This would prove to be something of a mistake.
Man. Because it's like, yeah, go write it. I'd be like, do you really want that?
Never trust the prince when he's like, oh, I want a journalist to hold my feet to the fire. Are you kidding me? Accountability? That's what kings love.
Man. I mean, I'm not blaming him. It's just like you can see it all unfolding here.
Yeah,
because I would do the same thing.
Heading.
I'd go like, oh, okay. Yeah,
okay, I'll
write
do
about
it, I guess.
Yeah.
In the fall of 2017, having silenced his most powerful detractors, MBS's security forces launched a crackdown on their little enemies. 80 dissidents were arrested. Most were clerics who were either too conservative or too progressive. The rest were political reformers, and, as Ben Hubbard writes, individuals who had annoyed MBS and his aides in some way or another. One was an economist who had questioned the wisdom of privatizing Aramco. Another was a poet who had called on journalists to avoid harsh language in a dispute with Qatar. So these are just guys getting arrested for bugging, Turkey or Mohammed bin Salman,
this is just,
for any reason.
I'm going to do my petty tour here, my asshole tour.
I've gotten rid of the big enemies. One prominent detainee was a cleric named Salman al-Auda. In his younger days, he'd been an extreme fundamentalist, and he'd spent time in prison for demeaning the royal family, arguing against their right to rule. In more recent years, he'd become almost a progressive, hosting popular shows on YouTube and television, and building a massive younger following on social media with generally positive, upbeat videos about Islam and modern life. What really got him in trouble was his growing embrace of constitutional monarchy. Al-Auda framed this as an attempt to help the kingdom and House of Saud avoid an Arab Spring of their own. He gently suggested that the government might try to listen to its people a little more, rather than governing by the whims of Mohammed bin Salman and his ailing father. He was arrested and has been held in solitary confinement from September of 2017 up to the present day. His brother complained about the arrest on Twitter and has also been detained. If his case ever comes to trial, he could get the death penalty, although given the fact that his health is deteriorated behind bars, that may not be... He could be dead now. I don't think we know.
Wow.
There's a lot of guys like that. The whole Ritz-Carlton affair was carried on in a very hush-hush manner by the kingdom's security forces. They obviously wanted everyone to know the broad strokes of what had gone down, and there were specific names they wanted publicized, but the government never released a comprehensive list of names, and only accused them vaguely of intelligence activities for the benefit of foreign parties, and engaging in espionage while having contact with external entities. The Muslim Brotherhood was named as a specific example. Long-term consequences ranged from prison terms to home detention. Some people were let go entirely, with the equivalent of a warning. Nearly all spent days or weeks detained at the Ritz without any charge or clear idea of what crimes they were expected to answer to. Some were certainly executed, although it's impossible for us to make any clear estimates about how many people suffered what punishments.
The crime was bugging them. It was
the crime was bugging them. Yeah. Bugging him or other people like you. Yes, the two great crimes. On June 24th, 2018, Saudi Arabia officially lifted its ban on women driving. Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, fresh off being released from the Ritz, praised the move on social media and went on a public drive with his daughter and granddaughter. He tweeted, "There is no doubt that the thoughts of my brother Mohammed bin Salman led to this great result. Women have now taken off, gotten their freedom." That's all they needed was to drive. But that May... Mere weeks earlier, MBS's police had carried out a massive crackdown on women's rights activists. 10 women and 7 men, at least, were arrested over their work campaigning to end the driving ban that Mohammed bin Salman himself had ordered ended. From an article in The Guardian, Amnesty said that according to 3 testimonies it obtained, some of the activists were repeatedly given electric shocks and flogged, leaving some unable to walk or stand properly. In one instance, an activist was hung from the ceiling. Another testimony said one of the detained women was subjected to sexual harassment by interrogators wearing face masks.
Jesus.
So this is like weeks before he ends the ban. And their crime is not that they want the ban to end. The crime is that they're advocating... They're saying that the country's doing something wrong, that a law needs to change because it's wrong, and that's criticism. We can't have that. No, sir.
It's just that it's that fucking that vibe, right? The like hashtag girl boss vibe, where it's like on top of just some of the worst things ever, where it's just short circuits your brain, where they're like patting themselves on the back at the same time they're doing this.
Yeah, it's
it just
upsetting.
Hurts. Yeah.
You hate to see it. A Saudi female race car driver, and again, there's weeks long PR push in the wake of this. A Saudi female race car driver is given her license in a grand ceremony in Riyadh and allowed to take a celebratory lap through the capital weeks before she would help to open the French Grand Prix. Journalists were warned that she would not make any comment about women's rights. This eloquently showcased bin Salman's attitude towards social progress. He would do the minimum necessary, but he would also brutally punish anyone who made the mistake of embracing change before he did. And he would expect to be right.
It's just, I'm going to give you what I give you, and you better not ask for more.
And you better not have asked for what I'm giving you previously.
Because he wants people to like him. He wants to be worshipped.
Yeah, you're also going to praise me every step of the way. You're going to be thanking me for what I've given you.
I mean, we had a discussion like that, when we legalized weed, it became this thing of like, maybe we should let the people in jail for that out. Like, it's similar, but except if you say that, you'll be executed.
Right, yeah. You shouldn't say that. Luwain Al-Haflul had gained notoriety in 2014 when she was arrested for trying to drive her car from the UAE into Saudi Arabia. She was released after more than 70 days in prison the month after Salman was made king. This was initially seen as a reason for optimism towards the new king and his son. Al-Hathlul had continued to speak out against the kingdom's laws and participated in a major foreign documentary that criticized Saudi Arabia's human rights record. She'd been living overseas with her husband when she returned home in 2017 and was arrested as part of MBS's wider crackdown on dissent. She was released and expanded the scope of her activism, pushing against the kingdom's guardianship laws, which made women basically legal minors in perpetuity. She was invited to speak at the UN, where she directly called kingdom representatives out for denying the existence of guardianship laws. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. A month after this, she was kidnapped from her home in Abu Dhabi and flown to Saudi Arabia. She was released after a month, but forbidden from leaving the country. Then, just before the driving ban was repealed, she was swept up in a mass arrest with other prominent women's rights activists. And this is like part of this big sweep that I had talked about just a second ago, right? Punishments for these activists and their supporters ran the gamut from jail time to travel bans to torture. The kingdom's captive news media embarked on a campaign of slandering the reputations of those incarcerated, and some prisoners, including Al-Hathlul, were tortured by officers of the Rapid Intervention Group. This was a recently assembled team of black ops guys, overseen by a guy named Saud al-Qahtani, and operated as the personal enforcers of Mohammed bin Salman. Anyone who annoyed him was fair game for kidnapping, torture, and murder. The women were kept in tiny rooms with covered windows. They were taken to be interrogated and tortured frequently by men who mostly wanted to humiliate them. They were sexually harassed a lot. They were shocked with like cattle prods. They were just beaten the old-fashioned way. Al-Hathlul was waterboarded on several occasions. Al-Qahtani oversaw her torture directly sometimes. He would threaten to rape her repeatedly and throw her body in the sewer. This is the kind of stuff that they're doing. And they're doing this during Ramadan. He and his men are torturing her throughout the night, and they force her to eat after the sun comes up when she's not supposed to be eating. This is pretty gross stuff, right?
I don't know, Robert, because Dave Chappelle said it's easier to talk in Saudi Arabia.
It's easier to talk in Saudi Arabia unless
it's
you're a woman who wants to try.
Because of wokeness here.
They don't have wokeness.
Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah. That is horrific.
Yeah. It would be operatives of the same Rapid Intervention Group that Mohammed bin Salman called upon to murder now dissident journalist Jamal Khashoggi. He had written critically of the prince's Ritz-Carlton kidnapping spree the previous year and about the ongoing detention of women's driving advocates. What he didn't know was that mere months before MBS started his campaign to destroy dissent, he sent agents of his Rapid Intervention Group, mostly military veterans, to the U.S. so they could train with a private security firm, the Tier 1 Group. Per the New York Times, the mercenary firm, quote, is owned by the private equity firm Cerberus Capital Management. The company says the training, including safe marksmanship and countering an attack, was defensive in nature and designed to better protect Saudi leaders. One person familiar with the training said it also included work in surveillance. Yes, the good men at Cerberus Capital Management have a private army that they're using to train Mohammed bin Salman's goon squad.
Rich people, for the longest time, it's the weirdest thing that how they're just like Palantir, like they're just, you know what, we're not going to even lie about that. Yeah, let's call it like it is. It's like the only honesty they have. It's so weird.
Yeah. My new capital management firm, I Just Shot a Baby Incorporated. Yeah, named after the time I shot a baby.
Holy shit.
It's great stuff. So, Khashoggi himself had fled Saudi Arabia in June of 2017, having seen the writing on the wall of the Ritz. He had escalated his criticisms of the regime, and MBS in particular, and had launched a series of projects with the aim of collecting and amplifying foreign dissent against the government. Because he was too clever to fly back into the country, Saudi operatives had to nab him overseas in order to stop his inconvenient criticisms. Saud al-Qahtani, MBS's triggerman, is known to have organized an effort to take out Khashoggi. They finally caught him in Turkey. A 15-member intervention group team fell upon the journalist as he visited the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, seeking papers to make his marriage to his fiancée official. While she waited outside, the team attacked him. The kingdom would later claim their job was just to take him back to Saudi Arabia, but he resisted and so was injected with a large dose of something that killed him. His body was then dismembered. MBS, the government insisted, had no knowledge of any of this. Subsequent investigations and reporting have revealed that one member of the negotiation team was a coroner, explicitly hired to dismember Mr. Khashoggi's corpse after he was killed, which would suggest they never wanted to take him alive, right?
Listen.
You don't bring a coroner along if you think you're going to get this guy out of the building alive.
Who among us was like, we just want to talk to him. Oh, damn it, we dismembered him.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good God.
So we don't know exactly what went down in the room, but we have a pretty good idea. And all of the evidence shows Mr. Khashoggi was assassinated, dismembered, and disposed of by a team that had been sent to Turkey to do just that. All credible experts believe Mohammed bin Salman gave the orders. And that's kind of where we leave things off. There's more to say. I mean, there's a lot more to get into the Trump years and stuff, but these are the broad strokes of how he came to be where he is, right? Our current president has even broken with the conclusions of his own CIA to insist that MBS is probably innocent. And I don't know, do we trust the CIA or do we trust Donald Trump here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just a real, like, you've identified a bastard, but it really resonates of, like, the other, all the people who fucking are doing business with this guy and being like, oh, it's great there. It's just like, oh, fuck all those people.
Yep. Because, you know, the tempo of operations in Yemen with Saudi Arabia is a lot lower than it was. But the damage from the peak of operations was catastrophic. Per an article in Genocide Watch in 2021, Saudi strikes have directly killed over 12,000 civilians. Only half of hospitals continue to operate. Saudi naval blockades have cut off food and supplies. Thousands of children have died of starvation. A cholera epidemic afflicted 800,000 civilians and killed thousands. 80% of the population depends on humanitarian relief. The Yemeni Archive and Oxfam report that the Saudi-led coalition has systematically destroyed 130 bridges essential for the delivery of humanitarian aid. Houthis have also prevented food aid from reaching populations in areas they control. At least 233,000 civilians have died in Yemen's civil war, right? So, cool.
Horrific.
Not good person. I will not be subscribing to the Wall City.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, and I won't listen to his podcast when it comes out.
Yeah. I was surprised because you talk about all these people who are just getting paid a lot of money and sitting around. I was like, surely a lot of podcasts. Yeah, a lot of terrible podcasts are
Call it the
coming out of
Soundcast, you know? You got a name right there.
Bam. You did it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
God
Dave,
damn.
Got to plug anything?
I don't know. Okay. Gamefully Unemployed, that's the podcast network I co-run with Tom Ryman, and we talk about movies and TV and you know, stuff like that. The X-Files. I am the head writer of Some More News, which is it's like a news show on the YouTube. And that's it for now. Maybe more in the future someday. I will be able to say other things. That's it.
Excellent.
Very cool.
Well, everybody, say other things with us and to yourself and go away. The episode's done.
Bye.
Yeah, get out of here.
Behind the Bastards is a production of Cool Zone Media. For more from Cool Zone Media, visit our website, coolzonemedia.com, or check us out on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Full video episodes of Behind the Bastards are now streaming on Netflix, dropping every Tuesday and Thursday. Hit Remind Me on Netflix so you don't miss an episode. For clips and our older episode catalog, continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@BehindTheBastards. We love about 40% of you, statistically speaking.
Tired of spills and stains on your sofa? Wash away your worries with Anabay. Anabay is the only designer sofa that's machine washable inside and out, starting at just $699. Plus, Anabay sofas are pet-friendly, stain-resistant, and feature changeable slip covers and modular pieces. Get up to 60% off site-wide with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Visit WashableSofas.com to get yours now. That's WashableSofas.com. Offers are subject to change and certain restrictions may apply.
Discover a spectacular island destination with crystal blue seas, endless sunshine, and the cool Bahamian breeze. Baha Mar, located in Nassau, Bahamas, offers your choice of 3 luxury hotels, the richly refined Rosewood, the playfully hip SLS and the stylishly modern Grand Hyatt. With over 45 restaurants, bars, and lounges, Baha Mar serves up delicious dining from world-renowned chefs like Daniel Boulud and Marcus Samuelson. Nightlife venues like the new Jean Baptiste Jazz Club and the Caribbean's most luxurious casino. At Baha Mar, you'll find every pleasure under the sun and one-of-a-kind experiences for the entire family, like Baha Bay, our 15-acre lush tropical water park, interactive wildlife experiences, including our daily flamingo parade, world-class golf, tennis, spa, and so much more. Visit bahamar.com today and discover a vacation destination where memories are made for a lifetime. Baha Mar, life spectacular.
This is Jacob Goldstein from What's Your Problem? When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Flag football is exploding, and iFlag is leading the way. As the Guinness World Record holder, iFlag hosts premier flag football tournaments nationwide for boys, girls, high school girls, and adults. From first-time players to elite competitors, iFlag delivers top-level competition, unforgettable experiences, and a community built around the game. Ready to be part of it? Join the movement. Find your tournament and learn more at iflag.org. That's iflag.org.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.